The views and opinions of the hosts do not reflect the views and opinions of the show, the management of this page, and the organizations that the hosts are affiliated with. Hello mga kababayan. Good afternoon po sa inyo lahat. Magandang hapon mga ka-Rated J. It is our great honor to be joined by the World Gourmet Awards MKN Female Chef of the Year, ang Pride ng Philippines. Pero bago po yan, isa muna pong magandang hapon sa inyo lahat and Happy Independence Day po sa lahat ng mga Pilipino dito sa Singapore and all over the world. Kamusta po kayo? Sana ay nasa mabuti kayong kalagayan sa mga oras na ito. Well, sabi ko nga po, meron tayong special guest this afternoon. Actually, this is parang mabilisan lamang na pagdesisyonan namin na sige, gagawin nating live itong interview na to kasi napaka-special po talaga at hindi ko kayang mapalagpas na hindi natin siya makausap ng live dito sa ating palabas. So, pinarangalan po siya ng World Gourmet Awards or WGA bilang MKN Female Chef of the Year, isang Pinay head chef mula sa Loya, isang restaurant sa Angsiang Hills sa Singapore. Nagmula po siya sa Dagupan, Pangasinan at nagtrabaho sa isang FMCG or fast-moving consumer goods bago niya tuluyang tinalikuran at hinarap ang kanyang culinary passion. Nag-aral si Joe sa Culinary Institute of America at nagtrabaho sa ilang kitchen, farms at forests sa Scandinavia kung saan nakilala niya ang kanyang mentor na si Andre Chang ng Restaurant Andre. Ginawaran siya ng nasabing award para sa kanyang excellent culinary skills, kaalaman sa araw-araw na kitchen operations at pagkakaroon ng mataas na pamantayan sa kagalingan pagdating sa culinary arts. So, without further ado, let me introduce to you this afternoon, walang iba kundi si Chef Johanne Siy.
Hello.
Good afternoon, Chef.
Hi, good afternoon. Good afternoon din po sa inyo mga kababayan na nanonood ngayon. You have to bear with me, no? I'm not used to this interviews, so I don't even know kung saan titingin, so saan ba yung camera. So,
yes, so I think you can just look at your actual camera para mas pero pwede naman na nakatingin ka pa rin sa akin para mas natural din naman yung pag-uusap natin. All right. How are you today, Chef? How are you today, Joe?
Good. Doing very well. Kahit na ngayon yung isa situation sa Singapore, you know naman na sarado, no, karamihan ng mga F&B establishments. So ngayon take out lang, but hopefully with the announcement ng government next week magbubukas na ulit. So we're looking forward to that.
Right. At ngayong araw na to ay basically naka-leave ka ngayon? Or
yes, I'm on leave at the moment.
Right. Pero nasa Singapore ka.
Yes, I have to attend to.
Right. Great. Okay, so eto na, pag-uumpisa na tayo muna. Pero bago natin puntahan yung Female Chef of the Year Award na yan, at alam ko napaka-special talaga ng award na yan, bata ka pa lang kasi, bata ka pa lang ba, tambay ka na sa kitchen? What was your childhood like when it comes to the exposure sa kitchen? Ikaw ba yung sumusunod na sa nanay mo o sa tatay mo habang nagluluto sa kusina? How was it? How was your childhood?
No, it's I spent a lot of time actually in the kitchen when I was a kid, no. Natandaan ko pa yung mga like summer school break. It was mostly I look forward to it kasi laging, that's the time na okay, walang pasok sa hapon. You can hang out in the kitchen. I remember there's one summer na we spent the whole summer every afternoon basically doing, kakanin.
Wow.
So it's fun, diba, for kids kasi it's like Play-Doh. Para kang naglalaro, no? So yun lagi yung opinion ko about the kitchen. It's more of like a playground. So hindi siya yung parang bawal yung mga bata sa kusina, ganyan, wag makikialam. It was not the sort of household that I grew up in. So to a certain extent, parang that helped me, no, in terms of my views towards the kitchen and how it's an experimental place. Yes.
Pero is it something like nung bata ka pa lang, alam mo na kaagad na, uy, marunong ako magluto, magaling ako magluto, or kahit man nung teenager ka, was it something that you probably think na, ito yung magiging passion ko when I grow up?
To a certain extent, I knew that I love doing it. I derived a lot of pleasure from it, no? Tapos, syempre, I grew up dalawang brothers. So, syempre, sila hindi naman mapili masyado. So, you get a lot of parang validation kasi ubusin nila lahat, di ba? But mostly because they're hungry. Hindi dahil masarap. Not necessarily. Kasi you know naman the appetite of young boys when they're growing up. Pero parang I really enjoyed it. And it came to the point na parang mga Noche Buena, ganyan, medianoche. Ako na yung nagluluto, high school pa lang, di ba? So parang for me, it's something that I love doing. Something that I did for my family, and you know, parang I derive pleasure from doing that, being able to share that with the people I love.
Okay, so nabanggit nga sa research namin na you have been working in corporate world, kumbaga, like me, nasa corporate world, in an FMCG to be very specific. What was the turning point in your life when you said, ayoko na ng corporate world, I want to do something that I really, really love to do?
Oh, okay. Yung upbringing ko naman,
di ba? Ano muna yung ginagawa mo pala noon sa FMCG? Ano yung corporate job mo dati?
Oh, okay. Sige. So, yung realm ko that time was brand building, no? So, yung mga nakikita natin in Manila ng mga commercial, ganyan, ng Tide, ng Ariel, involved kami doon. So, yung process dyan is parang pupunta ka sa mga bahay ng mga kababayan natin and then you ask them, ano ba yung mga hinahanap nyo po? Ano ba yung usually na problema nyo when it comes to certain things? Yung product, like that time was laundry detergents, no? Sa paglalaba, paano po namin kayo matutulungan? And then we try to design products that will address their needs. And then, of course, you're involved in the whole process of designing that product. Pati sa time na gagawin niyo yung advertisement na para to tell our kababayans about, you know, what the product is about. So that was what I was doing for the longest time. So 7 years yun kung ginawa. No? So that was, I was based in Singapore that time because I was moved here immediately after college to join the company for that. And it was during that time that I was based in Singapore. Syempre, it's a hub, di ba? So, nag-start ako na mag-travel during breaks, ganyan, when you're on leave. So, that's when I started realizing na pwede palang gawing career itong pagluluto, no? Kasi dati naman, when you're young, never ka naman din-encourage na maging, you know, like kusinera or chef. Hindi siya aspiration sa atin before di ba? It's fairly recently with parang yung mga food shows, ganyan, mga food channel na napapaisip yung mga kabataan natin na, pwede pa yung aspiration. So it was during that time that I was here na. And then, I started cooking for friends lang at the start, you know. But I realized na I look forward more to those dinners that I stage for, you know, like friends and family rather than, you know, like going to work. So parang it's what excited me and it's what I look forward to. So that's when I started thinking, baka nga ito, you know, eventually, you know, do something out of that. Yes.
Sorry nawala ka doon kanina. Anyways, sige. So eto na nga. How long have you been pala in Singapore? Bago tayo magpatuloy sa mga ibang questions natin.
I've been here quite some time, 2003 pa. So halos half my life I've been in Singapore. Yeah, based in Singapore. There was a brief period of time na lumipat sa New York to study nung parang formal education for culinary, and then nagtrabaho rin ako doon for a while, and then eventually back in Singapore again.
So 2003 na dito ka, pero you left your corporate world noong
2010.
So naka 7 years ka pa pala, or 7 or 8 years ka sa corporate world bago mo napag-desisyon na talagang, so nag-aral ka talaga sa ibang bansa just to be able to go to get where you are right now. Pero bakit pala naisipan mo na sa ibang bansa ka nag-aral? Ganun ba talaga? Sorry, hindi kasi ako familiar sa kumbaga career path ng mga chefs. So is it because it is necessary for you to be in overseas to be able to get where you are right now? Kaya ka nag-aral? Or is it where the best place to learn yung mga nasa ibang bansa?
Okay. This was my thinking that time, no, because I started quite late. Usually kasi in culinary, like you hear about the chefs na bata pa sila, mga 15 pa lang, ganyan, nagtatrabaho na sa restaurant, tumutulong na, and that's how they got started. Or like, like their uncle's restaurant or their grandfather's restaurant, parang ganyan. But I started a bit late. 30, I was almost 30 that time when I decided to pursue this path, no. So since I was disadvantaged because I wasn't very young anymore, diba? So I thought, okay, I better go to like the best school so I can catch up to these young people who are like way ahead of the curve, or like in terms of like like technical skill. And that time when I did a bit of research, yung CIA was one of the top schools that came up as in like that's very well regarded in the culinary circles. So that's why I decided to go there and go to New York. And of course, New York has a reputation of being, diba, one of the top cities when it comes to gastronomy. That's why.
That's why you really went to the US. And you left Singapore in 2010, and then you came back to Singapore. Kailan naman yun?
2014 naman.
2014 naman. Okay, and then this is where you joined your restaurant right now, which is, how do I pronounce it? Lola?
Lola. No, when
Lola.
I came back, I joined Restaurant Andre first.
Okay, this is where your
So,
mentor was, or
Yes,
mentor is.
yes. So, nung when I started kasi, they were just under construction yung restaurant. So, I knew about it even before I went to New York. And yung mga, naman how in the kitchen, people talk about, oh, this restaurant is gonna be very good. Yung chef nila, ang galing, ganito yung background niya, ganyan. So it's always been at the back of my mind, even when I was in New York. Now, if I eventually come back, I'm gonna work for this person because I know I can learn a lot from him. So that's what I did. No, I came back, and then I asked for a job there. I went through a trial phase, and then I started working there eventually. Yeah, so I did that for 4 years until the restaurant closed, and that's when I started traveling to Europe, to Scandinavia.
Wow, all right. And kapag ka ba Filipino, for example, dito, especially dito sa Singapore, is it an advantage or disadvantage? Meron bang disadvantage of being, hindi tayo Singaporean when it comes to being a chef? Meron bang difference, kumbaga, tinitingnan ba nila yung nationality mo? Kasi in our industry, hindi naman masyado, pero I'm not sure about this kind of industry. Is it something that iba pa rin kapag ka Pilipino, or mataas ba ang regard nila when it comes to Filipino chef?
I don't think there's a lot of disadvantages. Of course, there are, laws in place in terms of protecting the local workforce, diba? May mga quotas in terms of like some places, they don't necessarily hire people who are not Singapore residents, like either PR or citizens, because there is a quota for foreign workers. But apart from that, I don't think there are any disadvantages. In fact, I would say there are more advantages. Kasi parang, diba, you're in such a small country and people have, like the same background, same exposure to things and culture and like food from their heritage. Parang you bring in something new to the table from where you're from. And we all know for a fact, for Filipinos at least who are based in Singapore, apart from home cooking or yung mga home-based businesses dito, there's not a lot of restaurants that specialize in Filipino food.
Right.
And a lot of people who are curious about that. So, to a certain extent, that works to our advantage. Yeah.
Which brings me to my next question. How do you actually infuse your being a Filipino sa mga dishes na ginagawa mo, especially in your current restaurant right now?
Okay. Yes, I do. It's not very obvious, no, because I don't serve Filipino cuisine. Yung restaurant, just for everyone's background, is actually more of a Mediterranean restaurant. When it started out, it was more parang Spanish influenced dishes. But now we're moving more towards a modern European cuisine.
Mm-mm.
So, hindi mo siya makikita up front na parang, oh, this is like adobo or this is like kare-kare. You won't be able to see anything like that. Pero more of yung sa approach, I would say. Diba? Parang the way we would think about dishes. You know how back home, lahat ng putahe natin may halos lahat may sausawan on the side, diba? And that's a way for
Correct.
us to customize the dishes to our own taste, diba? Kasi parang
Right.
inherently we recognize na parang iba-iba yung panlasa natin eh, diba? So kunyari naglagay ka ng isang putahe dyan, hindi lahat kakainin niya in the same way or will enjoy it in the same way as you. So the sawsawans make up for that gap, diba? So I think it's that mindset. That's why parang when we have guests in the restaurant who have been there, especially like beforehand, or who've been there like many times before, I more or less know about their palate. So I try to incorporate that in the meals, you know, like sometimes we know this person doesn't take salt so well. So pagluluto medyo babawasan mo ng konti yung alam mo yun, parang yung customization na ganun is what we
Right.
try to incorporate.
Right.
So that's a big aspect of it.
Okay, and usually yung mga Filipino na pumupunta sa inyo, hinahanap ka ba usually or talagang I want to see Chef Joe? Kilala ka na ba nila as you know at nag-a-adjust ka rin sa mga panlasa ng mga Pilipino pag pumupunta sila?
Yes. So a lot of them are actually like friends from before or friends of friends. Or mga parang someone who's heard about me from like through the Pinoy circle also. And I'm always surprised because someone I don't necessarily know them. But they're like, oh, sabi ng kaibigan ko, I told them, I heard about you from her. So, and I'm very happy and, you know, like, and thankful for the support of our kababayans here, di ba? There was a comment nga from one of the investors, oh, parang the dining room is filled with Filipinos. Parang, grabe, how remarkable the support from the Filipino community. So yeah, I'm very thankful for that as well.
Right. And after that, you have already gotten that award. Siguradong mas madami mang mga Pilipino ang talagang bibisita sa restaurant mo at hahanapin talaga si Joe.
Yes, of course, looking
yeah.
forward to that, diba? To
Right.
sharing our cuisine with our kababayans, yes.
Right. So pag kunyari pumunta kami tapos gusto namin na, pwede bang i-infuse mo ng kaunti ng, let's say, gusto ko ng a little bit of adobo etong kusina to. Pwede bang ganun ang gawin? Or pwede bang mag-request yung mga Filipino visitors?
I suppose if you give us advance notice, like enough
Right.
advance notice, we can try to do that. But of course, without straying too far from what the restaurant is about, diba?
Yes, of course. Right. What are the qualities of a good chef, Chef Joe? What are the qualities ng isang great chef?
Okay, that's very difficult to answer for me. Kasi, diba, it depends on the situation, yung mga environmental factors that surround you, where the restaurant is, and so on and so forth, diba? So it's always influenced by all these factors. Pero, I think at the core of it, to be a good chef, you have to be humble and recognize na parang isa ka lang part nung whole cycle. It doesn't revolve around you. Your job basically is to take the produce and present it in the best way possible to bring out, you know, like the whatever is outstanding about the produce. So it's that humility to see yourself in that bigger picture and then the role that you play. So that's one thing. And of course, I think, yeah, respect for the producers, for nature, and the traditions, no, of the cultural like heritage and tradition. So that those I think are very important. And lastly, the desire to learn and to continue learning, which you can say is also, you know, like part of being humble.
Meron ka bang ina-idolize na chef, whether here in Singapore or overseas?
A lot actually, yes. I look towards you know, like there are a lot of remarkable chefs na parang inspire me. Si Chef Andre na mentor ko is one, of course. Kasi yung cooking niya is always from the heart. Yung cuisine is fine dining, very, like with all the flourishes and yung presentation talaga, ang ganda na parang like fine dining. But at the core of it, the heart of it is always cuisine that is very personal. Whether sa experience niya nung lumalaki siya, yung background niya, or yung mga places na nabisita at napuntahan niya, it's very personal. So that's one thing. And then the other one is this the chef called Eric Ripper from New York, who I work for also, because of his focus. Parang alam niya ano ba yung focus ng restaurant, and we are gonna stay true to that no matter what. Yan. So those two chefs are some of my idols.
Right. Okay, sige, puntahan naman natin itong award nga na katatanggap mo lang, itong World Gourmet Awards MKN Female Chef of the Year. Can you tell us? Oh, parang Oscars nga eh. Ito ba yung parang Oscars nga ng mga chef? I mean, for us na hindi naman kami chef, can you tell us ano ba yung degree of gaano ba kataas itong award na ito para sa amin na mga hindi naman chef, kumbaga?
Okay. It's been there for quite some time actually, no? It's an award-giving body. It's been there I think since 97. And when I started, sila yung nanguna. Wala pang Michelin sa Singapore that time, wala pa yung 50 best. So sila yung annually parang award-giving body na nagre-recognize ng like all these individuals who have made a significant contribution to the F&B industry, So it's that parang it rewards people who are elevating the standards, parang ganon, which is the goal naman for most award-winning bodies, and I think that's remarkable in that they've continued to do that through the years. Ang tagal na diba? So I think when you think about it, they're very instrumental to shaping the culinary landscape where we are right now. Of course, to a certain extent, in terms of the Singapore F&B landscape, is of course influenced to a great degree by this organization.
So can you tell us the process of house selection? Paano ka ba napili dito? Paano ba yung nomination process and the selection process?
Okay, I was surprised actually because I was late in the game. Like I was a late entrant, I think, because the process started much earlier, but I was only nominated fairly recently, I think in March. But what happens, the whole process is actually there is someone from the F&B industry who will nominate you. And then based on the nominations, they would have a period where it's open to public voting. And then the third and final phase is when industry experts would actually go through the people who've made it through the first two stages, and they are the ones who make the decision. Yeah.
And paano mo pala nalaman na nanalo ka? Was it something that they had to call you first before it was announced? And tell us, how did you feel nung in-announce yung pagkapanalo mo?
Okay, actually, I didn't. I knew it was being announced that day, but I was in the restaurant and I was.
When was this, by the way? When was this?
I think, when was it? On the 19th of May. 19th of May. So I was in the restaurant.
Recently lang pala.
I was calling my suppliers. So I was in the basement. So I had no idea. I was, like I've forgotten that it was during that time. And then one of the investors called me and said, "Have you heard the good news?" But I misheard him, and I thought he asked me if I had ordered something. So I was like, "Oh, no, yeah, I'll order it later," like that. And then he was like, for the longest time there was silence on the line kasi hindi nga kami nagkaintindihan, diba? Suddenly I heard people upstairs, my team, they were celebrating and they were shouting and they were so happy. I was like, what's happening? It's so noisy. And yun pala, in-announce na. And the team was, of course, who I'm very thankful for and who always support me. They were celebrating already about it, di ba? Nauna pa sila
nakahalam kesa sa'yo.
Di ba? So, yeah, so it's very rewarding to have a team who supports you that way.
What was the first thing that came into your mind nung nalaman mo ito?
I was very thankful and very honored because, diba, like these things don't come like very often, diba? Yung acknowledgement for the work that you do. Being a chef is, of course, in as much as it's very rewarding, di ba? Kasi you get to do what you love doing. It's also very difficult because, di ba? I think everyone, when it comes to cooking and it comes to food, everyone's a critic, di ba? Because we all have our own palates. So it's very hard to satisfy everyone. And every time you come up with a dish, you put so much into it, hoping that people will like it and appreciate, like what you've devoted your time and energy and effort to, diba? So it's a validation of the work that has gone into it. So yeah, nakakataba ng puso to be recognized, of course.
What do you think could have been the main reason kung bakit ikaw yung napili?
It's very hard to tell because everyone who's nominated for the award has done something remarkable in terms of their contribution to the industry. Yeah. So I'm not actually sure, and it's very difficult for me.
Right. But did you expect it? Or
No,
malakas din ba yung mga kalaban mo? Kilala mo yung mga kalaban mo?
One of them I know personally because she's been at the restaurant, and then you know how like people are very supportive in the industry, are quite supportive of each other, especially women in the industry. No, kasi konti lang tayo, konti lang kami. So, parang every time there is somebody, you try to get to know the person, try to get in touch base with this person. Tapos yun, you become friends somehow. So yeah, it's that.
Right. And speaking of restaurant, meron tayong mga makakasama ngayong hapon. Live mula sa inyong restaurant.
Hello.
Makakasama natin. Hello, everyone. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Magandang hapon sa inyo. How are you guys? Sige, who is gonna be your sport? Who's gonna be your sport?
Wandy is a restaurant manager.
Yeah, hello, Wandy. Hello, Wandy.
Yeah,
Hi, Wandy.
Congrats, chef, for winning the award. We are proud of you. From us, all of us, Team Lola.
Team Lola. Wandy, can you tell us how is chef as a colleague and as a chef in your restaurant? How is she?
Okay. She's although my 9 years here, she's the only female head chef here, and I think we are very, very proud of her food. Very amazing outcome of the food. We are very proud. Yeah, very proud of her.
Can you tell us any story that you would want to share about her being your chef in the restaurant? Anything special
Any
about
story?
her?
Okay, she's very her story. Okay, she's very not really a story, but she's very when she said behind the kitchen, she's very
Nawalan tayo ng signal.
Yes, we got cut.
Right. Wandy, can you call us back? All right, sige. I will let him call us back.
Sige.
Yun,
Only the restaurant manager has been there for the longest time.
I see. And I believe na meron ka ring mga kasamang Filipino doon sa restaurant. Tama ba ako?
There's this lady called Mariz.
Okay.
Who does the front of house? Yes. She's
Okay.
assistant manager. She's our assistant manager.
All right. Okay, I think he's back right now. Hi, Wandy. Sorry, you were cut. Hi, hello. Can you hear us? Ayun. Hi, Wandy. Hello. Oh, okay. I think he has to call us back. Ayun. All right. Nako, hindi ko pa siya napapapasok.
Yeah, the signal is bad in the restaurant. There's something wrong.
Right. Okay. Sige, how is your day-to-day activities bago natin sila pabalikin? How is your day-to-day activities like in a restaurant or in your restaurant?
Okay, our day starts at 11 because we do lunch service. No, so it's 11 onwards. So we do 7 days a week, lunch and dinner service. No, so we're there at 11 onwards, and then some people stay for the afternoon, or some people leave during the afternoon break, and then we start again at 5 p.m. and we finish around like 11. So during that time, it's mostly, making sure that everything is in its place, making sure we have everything we need, calling suppliers, talking to guests, tweaking dishes here and there. So it's that. It's very, there's a lot of things, like 10,000 things to be done in any given day. So it's
Right.
mostly about trying to decide ano ba yung importante, ano bang uunahin ko, 'di ba? Pag hindi ko to ginawa today, like these are the things na can make or break. So yeah, there's a lot of those prioritization every single day. Very dynamic environment.
Right. Maybe let's talk about a little bit of the Filipino cuisine or Filipino dishes here in Singapore. Kasi alam naman natin na hindi talaga siya sobrang popular when it comes, I mean, that's my impression, na hindi sobrang popular ang Filipino cuisine dito sa Singapore. Do you have any aspirations or anything na sana, alam mo yun, yung mga wish list mo, kumbaga, when it comes to Filipino dishes in Singapore specifically?
Actually, I want to see more of it. And I want to see it break away from just being, like something that we eat at home to something that we offer in a professional setting. There has been, kasi ang tagal ko na dito, so I know that for a certain period of time, there are restaurants who, like were offering like slightly more elevated versions of our cuisine. Pero hindi rin nagtagal, no? So I want to be able to contribute to that movement to highlight our cuisine, whether in its but in a more elevated way, parang different take on it, not necessarily what we have at home, because diba, the people at home, the lolas, the parents, your mom, my mom, they're probably the ones who know most about the type of cuisine, diba? But it can be also experienced in a different way. Or even kahit i-highlight lang natin yung mga produkto from home that are really outstanding, diba? That's also a way to do that, to pay, like homage to our heritage.
What do you think is yung kulang natin when it comes to promoting perhaps of our Filipino cuisine in Singapore? Ano yung sa tingin mo yung kailangan pa natin na gawin para mas makilala pa ng mga tao ang Filipino dishes?
Okay, that's
Kasi ako kasi passion ko talaga yan na yung pinapakilala talaga yung mga Filipino cuisine. Like
Yes,
for
yes.
example, ang ginagawa ko sa page ko pagka kunyari may bagong Filipino restaurant o yung mga pinupuntahan ko talaga siya tapos feature ko siya para at least yung mga may awareness yung mga tao. Like for example, lechon. Meron akong lechon na talaga pinopromote dito sa show. Tapos yung mga tao talagang pupunta din kasi I wanted them to really, know about the Filipino restaurants or Filipino food shops here in Singapore at hindi lang Filipinos yung maka-appreciate dun, kundi pati rin yung mga foreigners. So what do you think is something that we probably would want to do more to be able to, get this Filipino cuisine introduced to to the locals perhaps?
okay. I think we need more people like you. More people who will tell the world, like about these things. 'Di ba? Yung ano kasi sa atin, kasi okay, there are a lot of Filipinos globally. Diba? Overseas
Right.
workers,
Right.
there's a lot of communities of Filipinos, pockets of,
Right.
Pinoy communities in Italy, wherever
maybe-
you go around the world.
Right. Joe, maybe I'll cut you a little bit kasi meron lang tayong konting pa-surprise pa at baka maputol siya.
Okay.
All right. I'm not sure if you still remember him.
Oh,
He's
hi.
Edward Menor.
Yes, of course.
Yes. Hi, Edward. Hello. Good afternoon, Edward. Edu. How do people call you now, Edward? Kasi actually Edward is my classmate in college. In high school pala si Edward, wala kang nakamute ka. All right, I cannot unmute you. You have to unmute yourself. Edward, nakamute ka. Hi.
Sorry.
All right.
Hello.
Yes, hi. How do people call you now, Edward? Edu or what?
Actually, it depends.
It depends.
For my
Kasi-
batchmates in high school, like you, Junjun, it's Edward. It's more an Edward. But in college, like that with Yossi, they usually call me Edu.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
So,
yes.
so kayo ay magka-batchmate o hindi kayo magka-batchmate nung college?
He's ahead.
No,
He's ahead.
I had one batch.
I had one batch. And but you are of the same org? Parehas ba kayo ng org?
Yes.
Okay, and
we're with the JP before.
Okay, with JPA. What is your memory of Joe in college? Ano yung mga natatandaan mo na mga kalokohan siguro o mga
Ay,
fun memories of her?
It's always very good. I didn't have a
I'm,
lot of.
I cannot remember any funny memories with Yossi, but she's very dependable person kasi whenever our org then, especially with my with our committee then, education and research, which requires our group to do or to perform or to organize tutorial reviews to lower batches. She's very dependable. And likewise, she always makes herself available for such tutorial sessions because I know her capability also as a person and as a higher batch to her lower batch colleagues or to the lower batch students before in accountancy because Yossi then was really one of the top performers kasi when we're in college. Kaya
Wow.
ano yan, she's one of my dependable members of the committee before, especially not only with regards to tutorial matters, but also in other matters which concerns our committee. Ay, sorry.
Right.
Hello, Ninyo.
Hello. Hi, Nino. Alright. Okay, nung bata pa kayo, o nung college pa kayo, ito yung pinapakita na ba ni Joe ang kanyang kagalingan sa pagluluto, sa pagiging chef?
Not at all.
No,
Or not at
no.
all?
I do
So,
not
hindi niyo pa
remember
natitikman?
anything or any moment na magaling pala siyang magluto. Kasi hindi siya hindi siya nagluto sa amin before. Kasi
alright.
I was in the dorm.
every week before we have a committee meeting.
Anong
Every week
dorm
before we have
ka?
I was in Ilang.
Okay.
So I was really living away from home, So there was no opportunity. And then that time I was not considering it whatsoever.
I see. Okay. Ano na lang yung wish mo sa kanya or ano na lang yung greetings mo sa kanya kasi she has been, awarded this World Gourmet Awards Female Chef of the Year.
Well, first of all, congratulations, Yossi, and likewise, I'm very much surprised also since although I thought ikaw yung masusurprise sa pag ano ko dito.
No, I didn't even know nga.
Pero ako din yung na-surprise na you for that award that you received. So congratulations, and I wish you all the best, and likewise, how I wish also I will be able to eat or to have something regarding to to have something na dun sa mga niluluto mo kasi siyempre ano naman well, it's very that's very I'm very proud din because you're my friend, hindi lang basta schoolmate ganon kasi yun.
Thank you, yeah.
So that's why you have to come to Singapore and really have to try her dishes.
Well, hopefully, yes, hopefully one of these days if we can already have our travel. Ako naman pupunta dyan.
Yes, I think I haven't seen you for many years now, Edward. Parang tagal na natin last na. Kailan ba tayo last na nagkita?
2018 ba?
When Mary Ann
2017?
Sayabok came back, I think nung umuwi si Mary Ann Sayabok, tapos kumain tayo somewhere in Poway, I think.
Yes,
I'm not
yes,
sure.
I remember that. Na parang
Right.
that was the last time.
Yes, right. Anyways, thank you very much, Edward, for joining us this afternoon. And
Thank
stay
you also,
safe.
Junjun.
Yes, thanks a lot. And stay safe. All right?
Okay.
Bye.
Congrats also, Junjun, for your show.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, everyone calls me Junjun in Ilocos. I'm called now June kasi dito. Anyways, sige.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right.
Edu pala. Small world.
Isa sa mga pa-surprise natin ngayong hapon para sa'yo. Anyways, we were talking about your ano tawag dito, yung Filipino cuisine, how are we gonna market it here in Singapore? Ano yung best
Yes.
way to introduce this to the locals perhaps?
Yes, and I think more and more kasi there's a lot of Filipino talents who are based here. Just for information, yung head chef ngayon ng Meat Smith, Little India, si Kurt, also Pinoy. The head chef of Burnt Ends, also Pinoy Canadian. And marami pang iba apart from that. I think Cookhouse, Dempsey Cookhouse, she's a Filipina as well. So yeah, there's a lot of opportunity when it comes to introducing our cuisine to a wider audience. Yes, so that's something also that we want to contribute to in the future, of course.
I've always wanted to actually do a story before ng mga Filipino chef dito sa Singapore, and wala kasi akong masyadong contact pa noon when I was still with TFC. So siguro one of these days gagawa tayo ng isang story na lahat ng mga chefs dito sa Singapore, ng mga Filipino
Yes,
chefs.
that would be good. Yes.
Right. Okay, what's next na lang for Joanne? What's next for you?
I think now, of course, in as much as there's this award, I feel I'm just starting. So there's a long way to go, a lot more to learn. But somewhere down the line, of course, I do want to go through the experience of building something from scratch that has a little bit more of, like my personality and that brings to life more my personality, my heritage, my experiences, and that's probably where my heritage will, like that feature or like that spotlight on my Filipino-ness will come into effect. So we'll see about that. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking of for the future somewhere down the line.
And what's your message for those aspiring chefs na siguro kahit nandito sa Singapore or siguro yung mga nanonood din sa atin sa Pilipinas? What's your advice to them?
I think don't lose heart. I think a lot of our kababayans now are a little bit, like down given the situation, and they don't really know if this is the right thing to do and then the right thing to pursue, diba? And we hear about all the stories with the F&B industry na because it's takeout, a lot has gone under and so on. I think don't lose heart. If you are really passionate about something, do the due diligence. Figure out how you can make a mark in the industry that you are passionate about. Do a self-assessment of what your strengths are and see how you can contribute with those strengths. So work doubly hard when it comes to that, and always cook from the heart. Yes, that's my advice to fellow chefs out there.
And siguro last message lang sa ating mga ka-rated J's na mga nanonood ngayon, especially sa mga, syempre yung mga namimiss na rin ang Pilipinas at hindi pa rin nakakauwi hanggang ngayon.
Yes.
And of course, Independence Day message na rin sa kanila.
Yes, oo nga. Hang in there. We are Pinoys and we've always been known to be very resilient, Tayo yung tipong can adapt to anything. That's always been something I'm proud of being Filipino, Our ability to be ano ba yung itinuro sa atin before, pliant like the bamboo. So hang in there, and I hope you keep safe. Take care of your families, of course, and pray for that we will all emerge from all these challenges, sooner rather than later.
Right. Anyways, thank you very much, Chef Joe, for gracing our show, and maraming salamat for making us so proud, of being a Filipino with your award. Thank you very much and congratulations. All right?
Thank you.
So, mula po sa aming tahanan dito sa Singapore, ako po si June. Ito po ang Rated J, ang programa ginawa ng mga overseas Filipino para sa kapwa overseas Filipino. Marami pong salamat and stay safe, everyone.
Thank you.